The cosmic mockery, the crystalline vessels of the Zenthari Empire pierced the dark veil of space at the edge of Sol system. Their fleet moved with the arrogance of a species that had never known defeat, their ships glowing with an ethereal blue light that pulsed through their translucent hulls. Fleet Commander Xylax observed the blue-green planet on his command display, his 6 arms moving in perfect synchronization across the control interfaces, while his primary eyes studied the tactical readouts. Such a primitive world, Xylax mused, his voice resonating through harmonic chambers in his throat. No orbital defense platforms, no planetary shields, not even basic particle weapons. Their most advanced spacecraft barely managed to reach their own moon. Lieutenant Krex floated beside him, tentacles undulating in agreement. The preliminary scans show they still rely on chemical propulsion and nuclear fission. They haven't even mastered fusion technology properly. This conquest will require minimal effort, Commander. The Zenthari had built their empire on the subjugation of lesser species. They possessed technology that bent space-time to their will, weapons that could reduce planets to cosmic dust, and shields that could withstand the birth of stars. In their 3,000 years of expansion, they had never encountered a species that could match their might. Open communication channels, Xylax commanded. Let us observe the formalities before we claim this system. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a human conference room. Around a circular table sat representatives from Earth's major nations, their faces displaying a mixture of determination and barely concealed fear. At the center stood Admiral Sarah Chen, her uniform pristine, her posture unwavering despite facing beings that could end her world with a thought. People of Earth? Xylax began, his translated words carrying the weight of absolute authority. I am Fleet Commander Xylax of the Zenthari Empire. Your planet and system now fall under our jurisdiction. You will surrender all governmental authority and prepare your population for integration into our workforce. Resistance is futile and will result in planetary sterilization. Admiral Chen stepped forward, her voice steady and clear. Commander Xylax, I am Admiral Sarah Chen speaking on behalf of United Earth. We appreciate your direct approach. However, we must inform you that Earth will not surrender. We strongly advise you to withdraw your forces immediately. The Zenthari. Bridge erupted in harmonic laughter. Xylax's 6 arms gestured in amusement while his crew members' various appendages writhed with mirth. The very notion that this primitive species would dare issue threats to the mighty Zenthari Empire was beyond comprehension. Admiral Chen, Xylax replied, his tone dripping with condescension. Perhaps you fail to understand your position. We have conquered civilizations that spanned multiple star systems. We have technology that your limited minds cannot even comprehend. What could you possibly threaten us with? Your nuclear weapons? Your chemical rockets? Chen's expression remained impassive. Commander, this is not a threat, it's a warning. Humanity has survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and our own tendency toward self-destruction. We've learned from every challenge, adapted to every threat. We are not the helpless primitives you assume us to be. Fascinating, Krex interjected, his tentacles forming patterns of mockery. They believe their survival on one small planet qualifies as an achievement. Commander, should we demonstrate the futility of their position? A single antimatter torpedo would— No, Xylax interrupted. Let them speak. Their delusions amuse me. Admiral Chen continued, her voice gaining strength. We have spent the last 50 years preparing for this moment. Ever since we detected the first signs of interstellar civilizations, we knew this day would come. A species like yours would eventually arrive, convinced of your superiority, ready to add Earth to your collection of conquered worlds. Preparation? Xylax scoffed. Your most advanced military assets are primitive atmospheric craft and ocean-going vessels. Your space capabilities are laughable. What preparation could possibly matter against our fleet? Commander Xylax, Chen replied, humanity excels at one thing above all others: deception. What you see is what we wanted you to see. This is your final warning. Leave our system now or face the consequences. The laughter on the bridge grew louder. Several crew members had to steady themselves against their stations, overcome by the absurdity of the situation. Xylax raised one of his primary arms for silence. "Very well, Admiral Chen. Since you insist on maintaining this charade, we will proceed with the conquest. You have one of your Earth hours to reconsider. After that, we begin orbital bombardment of your major population centers." Chen's image remained steady on the screen. "Then you've made your choice. May history forgive us all." The transmission ended. As the Xanthari crew returned to their duties, preparing for what they assumed would be a simple subjugation, none of them noticed the subtle changes beginning on Earth's surface. Across the planet, in locations dismissed as natural formations or historical monuments, ancient mechanisms stirred to life. In the depths of the Mariana Trench, something massive shifted, disturbing sediment that had lain undisturbed for decades. The Pacific Ocean's surface began to ripple with unnatural patterns. Similar disturbances appeared in the Atlantic, in the frozen wastes of Antarctica, and beneath the sands of the Sahara. "Commander," a sensor operator reported, confusion evident in their harmonic tones. "We're detecting unusual activity on the planet's surface. Seismic disturbances in multiple locations." Xylax barely glanced at the readings. "Natural geological activity. Their planet is tectonically active. Focus on preparing the suppression protocols." But the disturbances continued to grow. In Nevada's desert, what appeared to be natural mesa formations began to split apart, revealing massive mechanical structures beneath. In the Himalayas, entire mountainsides slid away like opening doors, exposing vast chambers filled with pulsing energy fields. "Commander," the sensor operator's voice rose in alarm. "These aren't natural phenomena. The entire planet, it's changing." Xylax turned to the main display, his 6 arms freezing in mid-motion as he witnessed the impossible. Across Earth's surface, camouflaged installations were revealing themselves. What had been dismissed as geography was proving to be the largest feat of engineering any Xanthari had ever witnessed. The planet's oceans began to churn violently. In the Pacific, a whirlpool of unprecedented size formed, its diameter spanning hundreds of kilometers. The water spiraled downward, creating a massive funnel that seemed to reach the ocean floor itself. "Impossible," Krex whispered, his tentacles retracting in instinctive fear. No primitive species could. The energy requirements alone. From the depths of the whirlpool, something emerged. At first, it appeared to be a mountain rising from the sea, water cascading off its massive form in torrents that created tsunamis racing toward distant shores. But as it continued to rise, its true nature became apparent. It was a ship, a vessel so vast that it defied comprehension, its hull composed of materials that seemed to absorb light itself. As it emerged from its oceanic hiding place, seawater streamed from countless openings, revealing a craft that dwarfed even the largest Xanthari dreadnought. The mothership continued its ascent, water still pouring from its hull as it rose into the atmosphere. Its surface was covered in geometric patterns that hurt to look at directly, as if the very structure existed in more dimensions than the mind could process. Energy fields crackled around its form, creating auroras that danced across Earth's sky. "All ships battle formation," Xylax commanded, his earlier confidence evaporating. "Charge main weapons. Prepare to—" His orders were cut short as every display on the bridge flickered and died. The lights dimmed, and a new voice filled the air. It wasn't speaking through their communication systems. It seemed to emanate from the very structure of their ships. "Xanthari fleet," the voice resonated with power that made their hulls vibrate. "This is Terra Prime. You were warned. You chose not to listen. Now you will understand why humanity has survived when so many others have fallen." The mothership completed its emergence from the ocean, hovering impossibly in Earth's atmosphere. Its true size became apparent as it cast a shadow that covered entire continents. Along its hull, weapon ports began to open, revealing systems that made the Xanthari's prized antimatter cannons look like children's toys. "Your first mistake," the voice continued, "was assuming that what you could see was all that existed. Your second was believing that a species capable of splitting the atom would stop there. Your third was threatening our home. The Zenthari, fleet moments ago confident in their superiority, found themselves facing a vessel that challenged everything they thought they knew about technology and warfare. As Terra Prime's weapons began to charge, creating distortions in space-time that their sensors couldn't even properly register, Commander Xylax realized with growing horror that humanity's warning hadn't been a bluff. It had been a courtesy. The voice of Terra Prime. The silence on the Zenthari command bridge was absolute. Every crew member stared at their displays, trying to comprehend the impossible readings their sensors were providing. Terra Prime hung in Earth's atmosphere like a metal moon, its presence warping reality itself. Commander Xylax found his voice first, though it trembled with uncertainty. What are you? The voice that responded seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, resonating through the molecular structure of their ships. We are the culmination of humanity's greatest fear and greatest hope. For 50 years we have watched the stars knowing that contact would come. We studied every transmission, every energy signature, every piece of debris that drifted into our system. We learned about the galaxy beyond our small world. As the voice spoke, holographic displays materialized throughout the Zenthari fleet, showing images that defied belief. Construction projects hidden beneath Earth's oceans, massive facilities built in the hollow cores of mountains, underground cities that stretched for thousands of kilometers. You see what we wanted you to see, the voice continued. A primitive world, barely capable of reaching its own satellite. But beneath that facade, we built. We prepared. Every nation, every culture, united in secret toward a single goal, ensuring humanity's survival when the stars came calling. Lieutenant Krex's tentacles quivered as he analyzed the readings. Commander, the energy output from that vessel. It's impossible. They would need to harness the power of their entire star. Not their star, the voice corrected, stars plural. New images appeared, showing massive structures hidden in the asteroid belt. Collector arrays that captured solar energy and transmitted it back to Earth through means the Zenthari couldn't identify. The humans hadn't just mastered fusion, they had developed technology that made even the Zenthari's achievements seem primitive. But why? Xylax asked, his 6 arms gesturing in confusion. Why hide such advancement? Why appear weak? Admiral Chen's image appeared on their screens, but she was no longer in the conference room. She stood on what appeared to be Terra Prime's command deck, surrounded by technology that hummed with barely contained power. Because, Commander Xylax, we studied history, both ours and what we could learn of the galaxies. Every species that revealed its strength too early was either conquered or destroyed. We chose a different path. We would appear harmless while preparing for the day when someone like you would arrive. The mothership's hull began to shift, revealing weapon systems that bent light around them. Targeting solutions appeared on Zenthari screens, showing that every ship in their fleet was locked in Terra Prime's sights. Your antimatter weapons are impressive, Chen continued, but we moved beyond such crude tools decades ago. Observe. A small section of Terra Prime's hull glowed briefly. In the asteroid belt, millions of kilometers away, a small asteroid simply ceased to exist. Not destroyed, not vaporized. It was simply gone, leaving a perfect sphere of vacuum in its place. Quantum displacement weaponry, Chen explained. We can remove matter from existence itself, sending it to a quantum state where it no longer interacts with our universe. Your shields, your armor, your weapons, all matter, all vulnerable. Xylax's tactical display showed the devastating truth. Every simulation, every combat scenario ended the same way. Total Zenthari defeat. Their proud fleet, terror of 100 systems, was completely outmatched. We don't want to use these weapons, Chen said, her voice carrying genuine regret. Humanity has seen too much death, too much destruction. But we will not allow our world to be enslaved. We will not see our children in chains. The Zenthari crew exchanged glances of disbelief. They had encountered resistance before, but never had a supposedly primitive species revealed such overwhelming superiority. It challenged everything they believed about the natural order of the galaxy. You spoke of our delusions, Chen continued. Let me share with you the greatest delusion of all, the belief that technological advancement follows a single path. You developed spaceflight, then weapons, then conquest. We developed differently. We focused on defense, on hidden strength, on the ability to strike from the shadows if threatened. Terra Prime began to move, its massive form gliding through space with impossible grace. As it approached the Zenthari fleet, smaller sections of its hull opened, revealing countless smaller vessels, each one more advanced than anything in the Zenthari arsenal. Our scouts have visited your worlds, the mothership's voice revealed. Invisible, undetectable, learning. We know about your empire, your methods, your conquests. We know about the species you've enslaved, the worlds you've stripped bare. It ends here. Panic began to spread through the Zenthari fleet. Several ships attempted to charge their weapons only to find their systems non-responsive. Others tried to engage their faster-than-light drives, but space itself seemed to resist their efforts. You're wondering why your systems no longer respond, Chen explained. Our quantum field manipulators have been active since you arrived. Your technology works only because we allow it. Observe. With a gesture from Chen, half the Zenthari fleet's lights went dark. Life support continued, but weapons, engines, and communications all ceased functioning. The mighty armada that had terrorized the galaxy was reduced to drifting hulks with a thought. Please, Xylax transmitted, his earlier arrogance replaced by desperation. We didn't understand. We thought you were primitives. We can leave, never return. Your secret will be safe with us. No, Chen replied firmly. It won't, because this encounter changes everything. Terra Prime, show them. The mothership's hull shifted again and space itself began to warp around it. Multiple copies of Terra Prime appeared, each as real and solid as the original. The Zenthari sensors screamed with conflicting data as they tried to determine which was real. Dimensional multiplication, the ship's voice explained. We exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. We are one ship. We are 1,000 ships. We are wherever we need to be. The implications struck Xylax like a physical blow. This wasn't just a defensive weapon. It was the power to be everywhere at once. Earth didn't just have protection. They had the ability to project force anywhere in the galaxy instantaneously. For 50 years we've waited, Chen said, watching species like yours conquer and destroy. We told ourselves we would only reveal our strength if directly threatened. Today you gave us that reason. But we won't stop at defense. Star charts appeared on every display, showing the extent of the Zenthari Empire and every other known aggressive species in the galaxy. Red markers indicated conquered worlds, enslaved populations, strip-mined planets. Your empire has 3 choices, Chen announced. Complete and unconditional surrender, with the immediate liberation of all enslaved species. Peaceful coexistence under a new galactic charter that humanity will enforce. Or, she paused, letting the weight of the moment settle. Extinction. You can't, Krex protested. The Galactic Council, the other empires. They won't allow one species to dictate terms to everyone. The Galactic Council that stood by while you conquered peaceful worlds. Chen's voice hardened. The other empires that participate in the slave trade. They're welcome to voice their objections. We'll be visiting them next. Terra Prime's weapons powered up, creating distortions in space-time that made the stars themselves flicker. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer asking for its place in the galaxy. It was taking it. Commander Xylax, Chen addressed him directly. You have 1 hour to communicate our terms to your homeworld. After that, we begin liberation operations on every world under your control. The age of galactic empires built on conquest and slavery ends today. As the Zenthari fleet drifted powerlessly in space, their crews struggling to accept their new reality, Terra Prime began broadcasting on all frequencies. The message went out to every corner of the galaxy, in every known language. This is Earth. We are humanity. We have watched. We have prepared. We have chosen to act. The old ways end now. Those who live in peace have nothing to fear from us. Those who deal in conquest and oppression have everything to fear. We did not seek this responsibility, but we will not shrink from it. The galaxy will know peace whether it chooses it willingly or has it imposed upon it. The choice is yours. Commander Xylax looked at his powerless fleet, at the impossible ship that hung before them like judgment itself, and made the only decision he could. Open communication to the homeworld, he ordered quietly. Tell them everything. The Xanthari Empire surrenders unconditionally. As the message went out, similar scenes played out across the galaxy. Hidden human observation posts revealed themselves, and dimensional copies of Terra Prime appeared in orbit around every major military installation of every aggressive species. The transformation was swift, decisive, and unopposed. Humanity had spent 50 years preparing for this moment. Not for conquest, not for revenge, but for the responsibility they knew would fall to them. They had studied every empire, learned every strength and weakness, developed counters to every known weapon and defense. As Admiral Chen looked out at the subdued Xanthari fleet, she felt no joy in victory, only the weight of responsibility. Terra Prime, she said softly. Begin liberation protocols. It's genius time to show the galaxy what humanity truly represents. The age of hidden strength was over. The age of enforced peace had begun. And across the galaxy, species that had lived in fear of conquest began to hope. Earth had not just defended itself, it had become the guardian it had always needed, the protector it had wished for during its own dark times. And in that role, humanity would find its greatest purpose. The stars themselves seemed to pulse with new possibility as Terra Prime and its dimensional echoes spread throughout the galaxy, carrying a simple message. The bully's reign was over. The age of protection had begun, and humanity would ensure it lasted. The Xanthari Empire's surrender was just the beginning. As word spread, other aggressive species faced the same choice. Most chose surrender. Those that didn't learn that humanity's mercy had limits, and Terra Prime's weapons had none. Within a year, the galaxy was transformed. Slave worlds were freed, conquered populations liberated, and a new galactic charter established with humanity as its guardian. Earth remained hidden, its true location known only to its own people, while Terra Prime and its dimensional copies maintained the peace. In the end, the Xanthari learned what many others would come to understand. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology or its weapons, it was its ability to learn from suffering and its determination to prevent others from experiencing the same. The galaxy had mocked Earth's warnings. They had laughed at human threats. But when Terra Prime spoke, everyone listened and the laughter stopped forever.